I don't think anyone was prepared for what was in store with the amazing Digital Circus episode 5. What could have been just another wacky, forgettable episode has now become my absolute favorite. We've never gotten to know the characters on this level before, so get cozy, grab your baby lamp, and join me as we dive in. Why Digital Circus 5 changes everything. The funny thing about this episode is that it kicks off right after everyone has finished their adventure for the day, where it looks like Ragatha is trying to comfort Pomni, but she's so clumsy about it that Jax can't help but chime in.
Looks like that oh-so-positive Ragatha charm is starting to wear off, huh?
This line pretty much foreshadows the conflict between them for the entire episode. We're also introduced to a mysterious character that we'll talk about later. Kane surprises everyone by being genuinely concerned about making his adventures more enjoyable for the circus members. He's about to lose his mind because he just can't understand Zubul and feels like she simply hates his adventures. As we saw in episodes 1, 2, and 5, Zubul always finds a way to miss Kane's adventure, or at the very least ends up criticizing it in some way. This episode introduces some huge changes. I've said it before, no other episode develops the main characters better than this one. Kane becomes more approachable and shows that even though he wants to impose his adventures to feel validated and keep his sanity, all he really cares about is that the gang enjoys them. So based on a democratic vote, they can all change adventures midstream if the majority doesn't like the current one. Fun fact, this is the only episode where we technically get 2 adventures in one day, although it was really 7 if you count the seaweed one. For some reason, Jax is obsessed with teasing Gangle. It's like his whole reason for existing. So of course, the Great Hunter's first shot was aimed right at her. F in the chat for Gangle. And here we see that democracy actually works, even if Jax loves to claim it doesn't.
Democracy sucks!
In the second adventure, we have Pomni as president. The only thing that really changes the status quo is that the darkness doesn't seem to affect Kinger much in terms of making him smarter. If you remember, Kinger becomes very mentally organized in the dark. Maybe not enough time has passed for him to feel comfortable. Either that, or the baby lamp is enough to keep him from entering his lucid Kinger state. Other than that, we can't really get much else from this adventure. In the third adventure, we learn more about Gangle's tastes. She wants a simple, slice-of-life anime story, and since Jax is an expert at annoying Gangle, he finds a way to make her want to leave her own adventure, saying,
I mean, I guess it's not as embarrassing as that time Gangle took an anime figure and...
That's fine, but let's get this one.
hinting that Gangle probably makes her figurines do impure things. The fourth adventure is where the real substance is, packed with essence and tons of character lore. A perfect moonlit hill for everyone to relax and talk. But these scenes have a special focus on Jax, who says,
Do you think Gangle is actually capable of being happy?
What?
This leaves Pomni surprised because, oh my god, does Jax actually care about something other than himself?
I don't know, like her comedy mask still breaks every day. Does she think hanging out with Zubul is gonna magically fix that?
Maybe she just doesn't want to hang out with someone who's mean to her all the time.
Here, Ragatha jumps into the conversation, calling Jax out since he's always abusive towards her. Hearing him say that makes him sound like a hypocrite.
Someone who's mean to her all the time.
She likes when I'm mean to her, though.
I didn't think you cared about what other people like.
No, yeah, you're right, I don't.
Having to wait 5 episodes to see some character development from Jax, one of the most complex and hard to read characters, but he himself decides to let a little more of himself out. Unfortunately, it doesn't end well for him.
Do you have any actual friends?
Not anymore. Oh, wait, no.
I can't stand Ragatha on this episode. She seems more unbearable than ever, but I guess they made her that insensitive and clueless to further the episode's development. She knew very well the pain Jax was hiding, and yet, in a vulnerable moment, she managed to hurt him, even if that wasn't her full intention.
I'm sorry. I wasn't talking about that. That wasn't meant to be. Hey, Kinger! Did you see the fireflies all the way over there?
And the wretch, after completely screwing things up, just decides to ignore the problem, ignore Jax, and make up an excuse to get out of the situation. It's understandable now why Jax teases Ragatha about her getting tired of her own sweet and friendly act. But the development doesn't end here, and pay close attention because we won't get a more sincere Jax for a good while long.
What was that about?
It's nothing. Who cares? Doesn't she get on your nerves sometimes?
I mean, she's nice to everyone.
Pomni is still confused here. She thinks Ragatha is a sweetheart who wouldn't hurt a fly, but that's about to change.
I don't know. I think she tries way too hard. Like, we're stuck in, why are you always pretending everything's always fine? Like, if you tell someone they're loved and appreciated every day, it just kind of loses all meaning. It just feels like she's trying to take advantage of you, you know? I don't know.
Folks, Jax has shown his soft side for the first time. He does care about the people in the circus. It's just that there are no deadly consequences for his actions, and that seems to amuse him. Jax seems to be referring to someone, maybe himself, saying that if you tell someone you love them all the time, it loses its meaning.
Also, she's dumb and she looks weird.
Jax and his need to hide his trauma with humor is almost the same thing as Spider-Man or maybe Deadpool would do, with their sarcastic humor and constant fourth wall breaks. Moving on to something more important, Kane gets jealous that everyone is happy in an adventure that isn't his, so he gets mad and creates a musical event for everyone to enjoy, but this time created by him. A lot of things happen, but by far the most important is that we see Jax in the hallway of rooms, where we see a character we've never met, but who Jax seems to care about. This friend of Jax's is abstracted, but there's something that's been blowing my mind because nobody has asked this before. We all thought the mannequins were NPCs, and then in the hallway of rooms, there could be doors for both NPCs and humans. We all ignored the fact that we could always see the mannequin, thinking it was an NPC. But no, only humans can be behind these doors because this mannequin has an abstracted, and it's constantly following the characters around the circus out of Kane's sight. This leaves us with two options. Maybe it appeared like Pommy did, but unlike her, who involuntarily joined the gang during an activity, this mannequin could have stayed away from them and decided to remain hidden to investigate what was happening on its own. We don't know why it never joined the gang all this time, but this just means Kane isn't as omniscient as we all might think. Therefore, Pomni should be able to distract Kane and bring Gumigu into the circus, since Kane is forgetful and might just think in the future that Gumigu is just another member of the crew. It could also be that Kane knows this mannequin exists, but I doubt it, since he always brings everyone to the adventure and never calls for it. Maybe he just doesn't know it exists, and that's why he's never teleported it. This new mysterious character changes everything. Is it just another NPC? Why doesn't it talk? Why is it hiding? Why does it have a room if it doesn't use it? Why does no one care about this mannequin? Come on guys, even Pomni ignores it, despite knowing there can't be anyone else in the circus besides them, Kane and Bubble. In adventure number 5, there's a ton of information as all the characters vent except for Kinger, who we know can't remember things well if he's not in the dark. Although there's a lot to talk about, I'm only going to highlight the things that change the meaning of the story as we knew it. The first is that Jax mentions this.
Give me a whiskey sour, but hold the egg white, since I'm a vegan. What? I hate this! How is this even possible? I thought Kane couldn't.
Jax implies that Kane shouldn't be able to affect the minds of the circus characters, and of course that sounds logical. After all, they're unique individuals, not just ones and zeros that can be modified, so it's incredible. Kane's power is much greater than we all might think. He can not only torture you with adventures, but he can also brainwash you. Another thing that changes everything we thought we knew since chapter 1 is the character's amnesia. We all thought the circus members couldn't remember anything after arriving, because in the pilot, Pommy seems to have trouble remembering some things.
Oh God! Why can't I remember my name?
Nobody can remember their name once they enter the Digital Circus. One of the few things I don't have control over are your minds. So all I can help you with is coming up with a new one.
So we all automatically assumed that entering the game gave them amnesia. But no, in this episode, they all know very well who they are and also who they were in full detail. Zubul was a bartender and tattoo artist. Gangle worked at McDonald's and also studied graphic design, so she doesn't seem very happy about it. Kinger is a bit of a ditz, and the stars of this are Jax and Ragatha. She reveals that she was psychologically abused by her mother and that she wasn't happy with her despite living in a wealthy family. Then we see everyone staring at Ragatha with concern, and she just decides to run from the pressure like she did with Jax. Pommy asks if they know Kinger's wife, to which Jax responds with a,
Huh?
Something's up here. I doubt Jax doesn't know her. I mean, she spent years with Kinger before abstracting in the circus. They were there long enough to get married. That's how old they are. So Jax probably knows something. Or maybe Kinger's wife abstracted long before Jax arrived, since we have to remember that Jax is quite young, similar to Pommy, and the others couldn't answer because Pommy spoke so quietly that maybe Jax didn't hear what she said properly. Either that or he was surprised by it. Then Jax says this.
By the way, Pomni, sorry about the whole president thing. I just thought it'd be funny.
Are you apologizing?
And maybe the alcohol made him open up a bit, since his glass is almost empty. But Jax can apologize, although Zubul tells him not to pay it any mind, since he's probably just trying to mess with her.
What's happening?
Just ignore him.
Apology accepted, I guess.
Wow, the first steps of a budding friendship, right, Ragatha?
Here, Ragatha freezes up, stiff as a board. She just doesn't like Jax getting close to Pomni at all, and she desperately tries to change the conversation to get Pomni to like her, but ends up doing the opposite by trying to force everything. This makes Pomni super uncomfortable and actually makes her want to empathize with Jax even more. Afterward, Jax makes Ragatha angry by saying she acted like a jerk to Gangle at the McDonald's. Then Ragatha apologizes, which Gangle seems to appreciate. Jax tells her it's okay to be mean sometimes, that it's it's fun and says they take everything too seriously. In the 6th adventure, we can see something strange, a sign with Kaufmo as a brand, which is extremely weird. Until now, we had only seen living characters or NPCs in the adventures, but I don't remember seeing an abstracted character be part of an adventure, even just in the background. So Kane might also be keeping Kinger's wife or Jax's acquaintance somewhere, even if it's just their images. At the softball game, we meet the evil Circus. Everyone except Gangle, because she's just too good to have an evil version. Maybe she would have been the devil himself if that had happened. Jax hates looking weak, so when they end up putting him in a maid dress, he explodes and is left completely embarrassed. Zubo has never seen Jax so angry. Even she finds it weird. Getting close to the end of the episode, this happens between Pomni and Ragatha.
Not to, agree with Jax or anything, but there's nothing wrong with showing your negative emotions. That's pretty normal.
I don't know. I don't want to be a jerk or anything.
I think we all need to be a jerk sometimes.
Who knows?
Pomni shows empathy for Jax, while at the same time being unsure if it's the right thing to do, but things heat up way too quickly. And don't worry, I'll explain everything in detail.
I can think for myself, guys.
Hey, I ain't forcing anything on you.
And then you just act like you never do anything wrong and everybody loves you, when in reality you just fuck everything up for everyone else!
Okay, let's, calm down a bit.
What? You're the one who said it's fine to be a jerk sometimes!
Ragatha just can't control herself. She doesn't understand the meaning of being mean or letting loose once in a while. Everything is extreme with her. She's either unbearably nice or she's blunt, rude, and unfriendly. But she's trying. After all, she's never been good at talking back to anyone, since she had to go along with her mother's extremist ideas no matter what.
I'm sorry, Pomni. That wasn't very cool of me.
It's fine.
No apologies for me? This is so sad.
I'm sorry, Jax. For bringing up that thing earlier.
Ragatha can apologize sincerely. It's very hard for her, and you can see the difference between a real and a fake apology by Jax's reaction to this one. By the way, Jax looks great in that dress, doesn't he? In this scene, Pomni asks Ragatha if she can take her turn, with the excuse that she'll be able to show everyone who's boss. But later, when evil Pomni speaks, Ragatha automatically sees Pomni in her, and when she looks at her in the stands, she and Jax are talking calmly. Ragatha here feels like she's lost Pomni. She feels uncomfortable because she thinks she's right, but this isn't about who's right or wrong. Pomni is simply curious to get to know her circus mate a little bit better, realizing he isn't necessarily a horrible person. In the end, Ragatha freezes up again, and this makes Pomni uncomfortable once more, to which Ragatha gives her a look that shows the distance between them. It seems like things between them are going to be really complicated from now on, but this isn't just about her. Pomni could have been that friend Ragatha could have turned to when she needed help, but by forcing things and behaving in a way she herself isn't comfortable with, everyone else seems unable to fully trust her, leaving her with a void in the circus. In the end, neither Kinger nor Jax are the loneliest members of the circus. After all of this, it was always Ragatha. And look who's here. I'm sure we'll see his story in the next episode of the Digital Circus. So stay tuned to the channel because we'll be covering absolutely everything related to the Digital Circus and a lot of other interesting stuff. Don't forget to comment with your favorite theory. Whiskus, always read us.